Like, yo, man, I'm having these thoughts about old people. I feel like once you made it to a certain age, there's just certain jobs that you just should not be doing. Like heavy labor. Why are you doing that? By the time I'm old, I am not doing any labor. I'm hiring everybody. I got capital. You need some of this capital, so I'm gonna peel a little bit of it off from this business expense. It's a business loan, right? So I'm gonna pay my workers out of a business loan when I get older. I ain't breaking my back 60 years. I see some 60-year-olds out here.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I saw some absolutely heinous shit on the news and I cannot find an article for it anywhere. But this just goes to show the type of shit that they're trying to feed us that is obviously not true. They said that right now, 20% more seniors over 80 are back to work. But this is not because they need money and because they can't afford to live. It's simply because they're bored and that they feel unimportant. Do you know how stupid you have to be to believe that? I am absolutely crushed when I see a senior working a minimum wage job, because you always know they are not there by choice. Why would somebody come out of retirement to work a minimum wage job? Of course, I'm sure there are some exceptions, but we hear every day that it's getting harder and harder for seniors to get by, especially on small social security checks, non-existing pensions, and lack of help from family members, because family members can't even help themselves. So you mean to tell me that you're gonna try to get us to believe this shit? I'm so sick of the media brainwashing.
Question, y'all. You know what's really sad? When, you see somebody working that should clearly be fucking retired. I just was at the Dollar Tree and, the lady checking out, at first I didn't notice, her age, right? And I'm, in my head, I was like, oh my god, this line is going so slow. And then I look up and I'm like, bro, this abuelita should be, at home drinking some hot chocolate, watching, the novelas or something, should not be working right now. What the fuck is wrong with, this whole fucking system, y'all?
I'm still getting a lot of comments on the video I made about how the federal minimum wage and by proxy the Tennessee minimum wage is too low. The gist of the comments that are against raising the minimum wage are essentially, I'm a very mean person and I am deeply insecure about my own skill sets, and I'm afraid that if we pay people more, there will be less for me, and if there's less for me, I'm gonna die! Because they know they're one paycheck away from being homeless. A huge percentage of us are. So they're afraid if people have more, they'll have less. When the real thought is, if we all have more, we all have more!
No, because you know what I never want to be? 40, 50 years old, at a minimum wage job, hanging with 19-year-olds, and then being a mean girl. And not just that, but also cry, real tears in front of all these 19-year-olds every time something goes wrong.
About this guy who's making this tape.
Putting a whole show for everybody to watch this person cry and feel bad for them. Actual tears at work because something went wrong. And then being a mean girl by telling other people, don't talk to this person. Putting people against another person. If that's ever me in the future, fire me. Fire me.
I'm just embarrassed. I just don't want to do what I'm doing anymore. I don't want to do it. I'm just tired of it. I'm literally working for a company that I worked for well over a decade ago. I'm going backwards. And you know what? I'm going backwards just for a paycheck. It's nothing I want to do. It's nothing I want to do. I don't even know what I want to do now. I just don't know. I know I don't want to do this. I'm going backwards. I just want to be somewhere else. I want to do something else, and I don't want to do this. I don't like being talked at work. I don't like it. No, especially from people that I have a lot more knowledge. I've been doing what I do for years, and I don't want to do it anymore. Especially at a lower rate of pay and micromanaged and stuck at a desk. I just don't want to do it, no. And low wages. Fuck this.
This is my list of things that people 65 plus should be banned from doing. Number 1, being president of the United States. I think if you're older than a majority of the population you're ruling, you shouldn't get to be president. Second, old people should not be allowed to be judges on reality TV shows. I did not watch the latest season of Dancing with Celebrities, but from what I heard, there was an old man judge who anytime he saw anything promiscuous at all, he instantly just gave them a bad score, and that's old people behavior that we can get rid of. I do not think the elderly should be allowed to comment or share social media posts because of how often they do not understand AI and love to spread misinformation. They can keep Facebook as a treat. We don't want that one back. I've said this one before, but driving, I think you should have to retake your driver's test every 5 to 10 years, and when you reach the age of 70, you should have to retake it every year. I don't care how inconvenient it is, you people cannot drive once you hit a certain age. Finally, I don't think we should have any old people in marketing at all. I see a lot of ads where I think, if they had one young person in that room, they would not have made that ad.
This is so real, but it's also very unfortunate. I keep hearing about stories like this, so I thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for all of your comments and your input. I was speaking to my father last night, who is a baby boomer who retired, and a friend of his is now in the situation where he has to go back to work because with all of the insurance fees and everything else, he can't afford to simply enjoy his retirement. So he has since returned to the workforce.
You know what upsets me and kind of like, it don't really make me sad. I mean, I guess it makes me sad. Like, I'm sitting at Wawa and I'm looking inside the window and I can see the lady that works at the cash register. Okay. This lady looks like she's like 70 years old. She gotta be like late 60s, and if I'm aging her, shit, my bad, my fault. But like, I hate that we live in a world where like the little old people gotta work. Now, if they want to work, because some of them is spicy and just don't want to be at home. So whatever. But the fact that like things are so expensive and shit is so crazy that people can't even just like rest and relax in their old age because their retirement isn't covering shit. Their pensions ain't covering shit because everything is just with inflation and just bullshit. Like, the average apartment, fucking 1 bedroom is like $2,000, on average. Like, that shit is crazy. Like, people, and then, whether they're married or not, like, especially like, I don't know what that's like for them, like single people, single older people. It just makes me sad. Like, it's 10:58 at night and she up here working and she's so old and so cute and so small. And like, I don't know, man, that should just make me sad. Cause I just like, I'm not saying she's had no horrible life. Look, I'm not trying to put a backstory to this woman's life, but just the fact that she has to be out here. Like, cause do you really think she'd be out here if she didn't have to be? I fucking doubt it. Okay. So that shit just, I don't know. It kind of breaks my heart, man. Like, I wish things were more affordable. I wish things were different. I wish that old people didn't literally have to work into the ground, And then like these senior houses be talking about to get this kind of rent, older people rent. First, it used to be you was a senior when you hit like 50. Then it was 55. Now it's fucking like 62. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really want your ass to keep working for real until you just croak. Like, what the fuck is that?
Ever since COVID-19 stopped and ended, I have seen an influx or rise of older people working. And it's sad, man. A lot of them should be retired. A lot of them are over 65 to 70 years old. A lot of them can barely walk, yet alone stand for many hours at a time. And yet they have to work, usually part-time, just to make ends meet. Their retirement, usually it's only like $1,000 a month. You can't live off of that. Even if you pay no rent, food, insurance, other bills. Those things are still adding up. And if you're older, your health insurance is a lot more because you are more prone to being sick much faster. And so your health insurance is probably like $400 a month or even $1,000 a month easily. And so a lot of times they get part-time jobs to supplement their income. And this is a really sad thing to see, man. If you're older, you really should be out on the beach somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Just enjoying life. You worked all your life already. Like, why else would you work unless you really have to? Or if you're really bored or something. But other than that, like, you should be chilling, relaxing, playing with your grandkids, spending time with your family.
Ageism is a real motherfucking thing. And I'm specifically talking about people in their 60s. They are having such a difficult time finding jobs. I don't get it. If you know 60-year-olds, people in their 60s, even late 60s, these are workhorses. Workhorses. They're the people that you would call that actually honor their job and their paycheck. They show up when no one else shows up. Like, these people are on time, show up in bad weather conditions, but so many companies skip them for 20-year-olds. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with 20-year-olds. I'm sure there's plenty of workhorses that are 20 years old. But the fact that the discrimination against 60-year-olds, okay, well, they're older, whatever, those are the motherfuckers you need. Those are the motherfuckers that you need working for you. So many of them have years and years of great knowledge that they can bring to your company. Most 60-year-olds today can move just like anybody else, are physically as able as anybody else. I'm just seeing it all the time and it's pissing me off.
Now, I have a lot of boomer takes as an old soul in this generation, but here's another boomer take of mine. I hate the way people dress for job interviews now. I saw a man come in for an interview the other day, and he had on a snapback that said "Crybaby" on the front. And he had matching shoes on and torn up jeans. And he was wearing a hoodie. And when he told me he was there to interview, I was genuinely confused because I'm just like, you look like you literally just came up off the street. Does nobody care about professionalism anymore? And the empath in me knows that not everybody has like a suit and tie to wear to job interviews, and not everybody's interviewing for like a high level job that requires like a suit and tie and really formal dress, so they don't feel the need to dress super fancy. But at least try to look nice, try to look neat, clean, professional. What happened to some slacks and a nice shirt? What happened to looking presentable? What happened to dressing for the job that you want? I don't know, it just grinds my gears. And I know that clothes don't define how well somebody can perform a job, but how you present yourself to the world does matter. If you want people to take you seriously, you kind of have to look serious. Just a little bit.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
One thing that's out of control in America is this unemployment rate. No, two things that's out of control is the unemployment rate and the fact that our elderly can't even afford to retire. So many at the jobs that I've worked at all these years, seeing people 70 years old and 80 years old clocking in doing the same strenuous job that I'm doing and hurts my back, and they 70 years old doing this. It broke my heart because, and I didn't ever ask, but you overhear conversations and they tell people all the time they can't afford to retire. The retirement age used to be 65 years old, 63 to 65. Now they 70 to 80 working. And then you've got young people my age, who are literally taking everything in their savings account or taking their last two paychecks, leaving these jobs and stepping out on faith because there's no reason. These jobs are just out of control. They firing folks for the silliest stuff, and all it is, they don't have the money to pay everybody on the payroll, so they start to nitpick. And then they wonder why most people are going into business for themselves, because who wants to be told by some random person who don't do the job that they do? You give a job all these years of your life and they just decide at any moment your job title is no longer relevant, so they're gonna turn you loose, or just whatever, they making cuts. They got a friend that they want working there and they want your job, so sorry, we don't care how you go home and feed your family, but you fired. I want my friend to have your job. That's ridiculous. Not to mention when, you know, the whole Indeed thing that's going on, these people in these HR departments would create these fake jobs, and you've got all these people starving, behind on rent, about to get evicted, no groceries in the refrigerator, filling out these job applications, hundreds of job applications, and y'all wasting their time. It's not enough just to fire them. I don't want to hear about a company fired their HR department for creating all them fake ads. That's not enough. You wasted them folks' time. They have families. And even if they don't have families, they have themselves to take care of. It's not enough to just fire them. Times is too hard for these people in these HR jobs to be sitting around playing games. It's too much. In 2024, and all y'all got from me is, well, I'm a company owner and I fired my entire HR department. I don't know what you should have done. Part of me wants charges pressed. Because, I don't think you can, but part of me, I want a little bit more than some firing going on. That's not enough. Thousands of applicants wasting time applying to these companies, getting evicted. They ain't got nothing. Boy, you used to be able to walk out of one job and walk into the next if somebody, you know, if an employer came with that mess. And now people are stuck in jobs they can't stand and don't appreciate them because there's no other job to go to. So many college graduates, college educated, and even if they're not, you can't even get a fast food job because there's so many people with college degrees piled up at them. So where does that put the people who don't have a degree? They have to go learn a trade, assuming that they can. Don't even get me started on the disability stuff because that's going to be the next video.
Honest question. Am I the only one who gets like soul gutted when they see an elderly person working? Like, I don't know what it is. It like affects my soul when I see someone elderly working. Like, I'm meaning like 75 to 85, older, whatever. It's like sad to me, and I know that it's not always a sad circumstance that has elderly people work, but to me, in my brain, it goes right to broke or lonely, and that's really sad to me. So like, I remember going into the grocery store, and one of the butchers at the deli was an elderly man, and like, I felt bad asking him to butcher my meat, so I'd buy like pre-cut meat, and like, it affects me. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. So today I'm in Target, and Bob was my cashier, real name Bob. He told me he was 82 years old. He told me that his daughter is a nurse, that when she gets out of work, she sits at her kitchen table and does puzzles, and that he taught her that as a kid to calm herself down, and she still does it today, and was telling me about how proud he was of her. And this man clearly needed somebody to talk to. And I left Target so sad, like so sad. My parents are in their early 60s. They're both either retired or in the process of retiring. And like, I want them to be able to enjoy their retirement. I don't want them lonely. I don't want them broke. Like, that was just so sad. Like, Bob made my whole day. I wanted to sit there and talk to that man forever. And like, I don't want him to have to work anymore.
My dad just got his first retirement check from the government, and turns out he'll be making $900 a month. Now, if you're thinking $900 a month in this economy, you would be correct. And so I did some math, which is very unlikely, but in these circumstances, what other choices do we have? Assuming I'd also be getting around $900 a month when I retire, which might be less, might be more, I don't know. That means that in order to sustain myself, I would need to make an extra $1,000 a month at the very least. That's $12,000 a year. Let's say I retire at 65, and we're gonna be generous and assume that I'm gonna live up to a ripe 100. That means 35 years times $12,000 equals $420,000. I'm currently 30. I'm gonna be working for another 30 years, which means you divide that by 30 years. So I would need to be saving 14 grand a year just for retirement. If I want to try and own property, which I don't think that's gonna happen, travel the world, have kids, own a car. I'm a terrible driver, so maybe not that one, but you get my point. That 14K is just for retiring, and not to live in luxury or anything. It's purely just to sustain myself. But my oat latte is the problem?
A lot of times what older people do is to move out of the country. They retire in Asia, in India, in Spain, and other cheaper parts of Europe, in South America, and other parts of the world. Anywhere else where it is a lot cheaper to live, that is where they move. Anywhere else where health insurance is free and the extra things in place just to make sure that they have a really good retirement. And I think that it's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea. Earning $1,000 per month in Asia, you'll be good. You will live a great life over there. But over here in the States, you're scraping by. And it does not make sense. And so people move out. They leave. And it's the best thing for them.
I feel really bad for this creator and her retired dad who is receiving $900 from the government for his retirement. If you haven't watched the video already, she goes on to say that assuming she also receives a similar amount of funds from the government when she retires, by 65, assuming she lives to 100, then she'll have to save $420,000 starting from now to prep for retirement, because clearly $900 per month is not enough for living expenses in this day and age. And I feel like this is a testament to how the education system has failed us regarding how to manage our personal finances. But I'm here to tell you that there is a way to relieve yourself of the situation. There's no need to despair, especially if you're young, but also you can get started at any age. The key is to make the money that you've already earned work for you, so you're not spending additional time, energy, effort apart from your, normal waking hours to earn more income. And yes, this can get really complicated, but it's really at the core quite basic. You just need to, on a regular basis, drop some cash into compounding interest vehicles, whether that be, money market fund, high yield savings account, diversified ETFs, stocks that pay dividends and that reinvest into itself. Whatever you desire, but there are so many different vehicles, and I am more than happy to go explain into detail what each and every one of these are. It is true that you cannot save yourself up to wealth. Like, you can't easily become a millionaire by just saving the money, but you can easily do that through investing. But where saving really does come into play is to living below your means, right? Like, if you don't have the disposable income to invest, then let's try and figure out how we, change the circumstances to allow for that. But the bottom line here is that make money work for you through compound interest. And you have a greater advantage of doing this and setting yourself up well for retirement if you start doing this young. So just to give you an illustrative example of a simple scenario, let's say I deposit $100 into an account that yields 5% interest compounded annually. So after year one, I'd have $105 in that account. After year two, $110. After year three, $115. After year four, $120. And it just keeps rolling onto itself as time goes on. And this compound of interest only increases as I deposit more funds. Let me know if you want any examples or have any questions. I'm more than happy to break things down.
Yeah, I have a pimple patch on. We digress from there. Older people, not boomers, but boomers' parents, okay, people in their 80s, having to work at a grocery store to barely get by. Whoo, talk about a topic that lights me up like a Christmas tree. I just went to Kroger. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have Kroger. And 85% of the staff working today were people in their late 70s to early 80s. When you're in that age bracket, you should be at home reading every book you ever wanted to read and on a cruise ship somewhere. It's got to stop. What happened to taking care of the older generation?
Y'all know what pisses me off? Seeing old people working, and them people could barely walk or move. Why are you not home resting? Wait, I know why you're not home resting, because shit is too expensive for you to be at home resting. This is fucking ridiculous. Let these old ass people stay home and rest and get their checks. Stop going up on rent. These old people need places to stay and lay their head. And I feel like it should be a law that a person over the age of 65 get a discounted rent if they need to live in apartments or if they trying to rent homes. Like, I feel like it should be a big percentage off of their rent so they don't have to work themselves to death or work in old age. Like, I'm getting my car service and they got this old ass man out here greeting. And y'all, I kid you the fuck not, this man gotta be over 85 years old. Like, I just looked this man dead in the face because he just came to my car to greet me. And this man is damn near dead. Like, I kid you the fuck not. Like, this is ridiculous. Let these old ass people sit home. We got these old ass people out here working regular fucking 9-to-5 jobs. They need to be home on a porch, sitting in a rocking chair, listening to the birds and shit. Walking around watering the grass. It's like, the fuck? Why we got these old ass people out here working? America should be fucking ashamed of their damn self, for real.
Is it me or the elderly are really out here working? When you go to the supermarket, when you go to the pharmacy, even waitresses, like, these people are in their late 60s, early 70s and up. And it breaks my heart because I feel like when you reach that age, especially if you have children, we have to step in and take care of the elderly now. So if you're working by choice because you're bored out of retirement, I get it, because my grandfather did something like that before. But if you're working because you literally are barely making ends meet by paying your bills, that breaks my heart, especially if you have kids, because it just comes to a point where the roles have to be reverse. Like, okay, like, I couldn't see, honestly, like right now I couldn't see my grandmother working. Like, that's not happening. No, not happening.
Yeah, I really believe that the older generation, right, the older people, a lot of them cannot afford to stop working, and that genuinely makes me like sad, because it's like, dang, if some of them had like learned about stocks or learned about investing, learned about just, I don't know, better financial habits, a lot of them would be able to retire super early. And I get it, some people are gonna sit there and say, well, back in my days, okay, whatever. But it's like, damn. Cause even where I work at, I see a lot of old people, bro, and I be like, and they are the most angriest. And it's really sad, bro. I'm not even gonna front. It's really sad.
So I have a question. Do 90s babies all like have the same grandparents and parents? Because like, don't you vividly remember always being at your grandparents' house and your parents out doing shit every weekend and whatever? But now that you have kids, you have to like schedule something 14 business days in advance, and it can only be for like 2 hours. Otherwise, they just cannot be bothered. Like, you have to beg grandparents to be grandparents, but like, our grandparents wanted to be grandparents. It takes a village, but like, where the fuck's our village?
I think that overall, things have really changed. Older people have lives now, and they choose to spend it how they want to spend it and not what is expected of them anymore. And at the end of the day, like, it is your kids, even though it is nice to have your parents involved, but at the end of the day, like, it is your children, so it's your responsibility caring for those children. And if your parents choose not to be part of their lives in that way, and like helping out all the time and doing this all the time, like, even your parents, like, they're tired too. Their whole life they had to raise you, and they may just be so tired of just children in general. It can happen.
Later on today, we're gonna go play a little pickle ball. Me, my son, and my daughter.
Okay.
We're gonna, it's just a little hobby we like to do later on. So I like to do that, or a little jog or something. So we're gonna go play that later on
so
today.
Do you have like a court at home to play?
Yeah. Well, no, I used to have one. We used to play on my yacht. But right now that's in maintenance, and we haven't used my yacht since we went to Prague, like 2 years ago.
Okay, so, Prague.
It just is for me. But I like this because it helps me get out to meet people and just enjoy my day as much as I can.
Hello.
Hi.
Could I just do a black coffee?
Of course. Oh, you don't have to. I'll get it for you. I'm going to get it for you. Don't worry about it. We're going to get that right up here. I'll get it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.